Right, I think we're live. I think we're live. If you're here joining, do drop your questions down below. It's Tom from Fast Track FBA, just joining you to support you within your Amazon arbitrage business. Let's see how we're getting on. I'll show you my numbers for today. UK, I only have that one on my phone. I don't have the other one. We're about 8,000. Okay, so we're about 8,000 for the day so far. Steady, a little bit down on thing. There you go, you can see it. We're on 70,000 for the week. I'll take that. And we're about 8K. So you're about 10K every day. Pretty happy with that. 10K every day. Pretty happy. And you're happy with that going forward. So interesting enough, one thing that happened today, and I'll kind of share it with you if I kind of put it on, is Amazon came. I don't think I had a number in my Amazon account health, and the result was that they said you are no longer eligible for Amazon account health assurance. I don't know if you can see it there. You are no longer eligible for Amazon account health assurance. Now, this is interesting because I got it in the US, but I didn't get it in the UK, and they just rolled it out to the UK. So it looks like they've rolled this out a lot quicker. So I'm guessing the number is going to happen, is going to come on as well. So it says your ARH has been below 250 for 10 days. Because we're unable to reach you to help you address the issues, your score has not recovered. We're no longer help you in the Amazon account health insurance. So basically saying they might be able to shut me down, which is like really annoying. But what's interesting is Amazon account health insurance is now valid in the UK, not just the USA, which happens as well. So that's really interesting. So absolute pain, but really annoying, no problem. Yeah, so if you're wondering, I do believe they're going to be rolling out the IP, kind of the account thing down here. Adam's dropped in. Hey, Adam. Star, absolutely love it. Hey, Adam, great. If anyone wants to know, between me on Twitch. Never done Twitch before. Thought I'd figure that one out. If you guys are on Instagram, I'm just going to see if I'm live on the gram as well. Let me have a quick look. Let me see how it goes. Also, as well, we've got the Wild Bill Adventures. 2 seconds. I'm just going to check something here. Let's kind of go through the Wild Dad Adventures. Sorry, I'm a million miles away right now. I'm checking this out. I don't know what's going on here. And everyone's doing these like AI videos on Instagram. It's like, whoa. So we got here, great call with Jade. How's it going? Hope all is well. Yeah, good. I'm a little bit, should we say, unwell. I had food poisoning on the weekend. Yesterday's okay, but today I'm a bit like, oh. 3-day lag time. But Jade, honestly, obviously you had a call with Jade. Let me know how that went. I think she mentioned it on the internal chat. Every time she finishes it, she just kind of updates internally. I think she said you're in that call. If anyone wants to know, this is the VA Academy 2.0, where we have a really, it's a weekly call that you do with Jade, who's my HR manager. If you want to know, she's the ex-HR business partner for Pepsi Cola. She knows what she's doing in the Philippines, so she can help you all with staff and everything going on. And I can see, and she kind of gives me an update of what's happening. So the Wild Dad Adventures, glad you had a great call, and obviously getting yourself a VA getting started. So that's really good as well. Give me 2 seconds, guys. If you've got any questions, drop them down below. I'm just going to quickly check that we are actually going. But hey, if you're on Instagram, I can see it right here. Instagram, absolutely fine. So if I kind of talk you through, next week I'm on holiday. I'm taking I'll be doing some lives with you guys, but I am on holiday, and so my Amazon business is going to run without me, which is fantastic. So I basically cancelled all my meetings. I'm really looking forward to it. We're off to Cancun. My girlfriend's most of my meetings. My girlfriend's looking at me right now. She's like, Tom, have we really cancelled all the meetings? Most of the meetings. I've still got some ops and some like marketing, and also I've got you guys on YouTube Live. So maybe I'll kind of do one at the pool. We're going to like an all-inclusive hotel in Cancun, which is great, but we're doing that on points. So one of the benefits of doing arbitrage is the point side. And if you follow my journey, you'll see I regularly share screenshots. Don't get me wrong, we're doing quite a large volumes of purchasing, and the net result is we just have a lot of points to pay, use. So I think we kind of make anywhere between like 250,000 and 500,000 like Avios and Amex points every month. So that really adds up. And I haven't been away for a while, so I'm like, I need to go away. And also I'm looking into the Philippines in January as well. So doing a lot of planning. I need to add that to my to-do list. Pen and paper. I'm really bad. I've got pen and paper, Philippines. You would think that I'm really, I would actually load up my calendar, but my computer's a bit hot. It's quite hot today, so I'm not going to do that. Let's go through the Wild Dad Adventures. We've got a couple of people joining Instagram. Gills Lively, Daniel Bakeman, Money Moves Mania, Julieffa. Hey, Julieffa, good to see you on Instagram. I can see you here. Hassan and Mohsin. Fantastic. Good to see you guys. Let me know if you've got any questions. Drop them down below. I will get them answered, obviously supporting you guys in your businesses. Also as well, we've done an update to the lead service, by the way. We can now show you only deals that you can buy, which is fantastic, i.e. deals where you can buy them. You know, they're not like gated deals. We can check if they're ungated, which is great. So we had a conversation about that and what we're doing. So the Wild Adventure, sorry to hear that, mate. Jade was so lovely, very bubbly, full of beans. She is great. Absolutely love Jade. Absolutely love her. And I was get to go meet her for the first time in the Philippines in January next year. Hashtag excited. AJL, help me out here, Tom. I'm in my first year of trading, 108K. Wow, really good. 108K. That's really impressive. Just drinking some coffee. Need to stay away, alert. I have an Amex Platinum card, but I'm struggling to get any other credit cards due to lack of financials. Capital and Tap has turned me down, so it's not an option. Do you have any other ideas on lenders to support cash flow? So, a couple of things. 1 second. Julietta said, hey, Tom, I hope you're well. Hey, Julietta, I can see you. So Capital and Tap generally work on, you have to be a resident and they'll look at your personal credit rating because they do ask for a personal credit guarantee, which is just something to be mindful. Capital and Tap do that. If you want another little hack, you can get another Amex. You can get an Amex Gold. So you currently got an Amex Platinum, apply for an Amex Gold. They're not linked. Their credit ratings are not linked. It's really interesting. We've been like, because we maxed out, we went to about $250,000 on the Platinum. And then, yeah, $250,000 on the Platinum. And then basically we went to, they said, sorry, you spent too much. You know, we have to go through your accounts. And then the other one is to find, what's it? The other one is then we had to go to, we had our Platinum, Gold already, and then we could still keep using it, which is really interesting. So you can use Gold. Other ones which we kind of use, like I'd do it through your banking. So like we do Santander, they're okay. It's not very good. We had like a 7,000 limit. It's a bit pointless. But I'd probably say that's about it. Like it's quite hard to get high loan amount for high credit amount. Why? Because, you know, don't get me wrong, like, you know, you're trading a lot of cash, you know, like lots of credit. And by the way, if you're still in your first year, that's the hardest time. Statistically, most businesses fail in their first year. And by the way, they don't have any trading history to get your accounts. And by the way, in the UK, you can have public, you know, Companies House, they'll show your profitability. So they'll know how profitable you are. So top tip for you is make sure that you're profitable in the first month or the first year. Once you get that done, you can go apply for cards. It'll be a lot easier. But what you might find is opening up business banking relationships with them. By the way, I know you want like credit now. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. You know, people don't just give you money. It's kind of like if someone walked you up on the street and said, hey, can I have money? You'd probably say no. So go open business bank accounts. That's going to help you out. Get your first year tax returns done ASAP. Your accountants will tell you that you can wait up to 10 months and they'll want to wait 10 months. Why? Because they don't have to do it now. It's easier. Don't do that. Chase it down, get it done now. Also, you'll probably find that you'll get Amazon loans coming in soon after that as well. So I hope that kind of makes sense. AJL, let me know if that answers your question down below. Hey, Thomas, what percentage of profit do you give the VA that finds a lead and percentage does it give the buyer? We don't do anything like that. My God, I'm not like, because by the way, like if I gave you a deal, okay, let's say for example, right now, I found a deal, right? A deal. And it was going to make $1 billion in profit. 1 billion. Wow. Can I have my percentage, please, sir? You'd be like, haha, no. Why? Because at a fundamental level, you haven't sold it yet. And also as well, that's, you probably think I just made it up, which is true. But the idea is you're paying out on what's known as estimations. Well, you know, your business doesn't grow on estimated profit, it grows on actual profits. So we only pay out on actual profits, not estimated profits. So that'd be my kind of advice. The other one I would recommend is, I think you're on YouTube right now. If you go to like, I think it's on YouTube, fasttrackfba.com/FTF-BIO, which is if you're on LinkedIn or anything, you'll be able to see it automatically. I'm just going to load it up now, fasttrackfba.com/FTF-BIO. And it's really like my link, you know, my kind of like link tree, for example. And I think on there, I'm just going to have a quick look now. No, they don't have it. But if you basically, I'll try and see if I can find it. I've literally got a download, which is our bonus sheets. You could download our bonus schemes, and I'd really recommend using them, not what you're saying. Why? Because the bonus schemes are based off actual profitability, not off estimated. We don't pay off estimated. It's not worth it. I promise you that. Give me 2 seconds. I'll see if I can find it for you. I'll drop a link in the kind of like chat, and then I'll jump on it. So Amazon bonus schemes is going to be a bit horrible. Sorry. I'll drop this down here, but you're going to see it. Here we go. fasttrackfba.com/amazon-arbitrage-virtual-assistant-bonus-scheme ×3. I know, sorry, worst URL in the world. I'll leave that up there for a moment. Download that. It's a free download. You can get it. It's the exact 3 bonus schemes we use. One for small company, one for medium, one for large. The large one you can get as well. Really helpful. It's going to help you out. Just going to jump over to Instagram. And while I'm on Instagram, you can read that off. So you might be able to copy and paste it from YouTube. That's at AJL. I will come back and do the questions. So Julie F, hi Tom, hope you're well. Not too well. I had a bit of food poisoning on the weekend. Nice to see you guys. And my girlfriend is taking great care of me. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you to my girlfriend. She's amazing. She's over there. I'm just smiling at her. Let's kind of go through. Mosin, hope everything's going well. Yeah, good. Do you provide VA training? We do. We do VA training. Fasttrackfba.com. You can see that there. Julia says, how many units do you usually buy on a test product? It depends on the product. Like, again, like you got to make an assumption. Like, if the unit's selling 10 listings a month, we'll probably buy like 3, for example. If the unit's selling 100 a month, we might buy like 10 to 20. We don't want to buy too many. We want to just get a feel for the velocity. I think a really good rule of thumb might be like roughly like a week's worth of supply would give you a kind of good idea. And again, if there's lots of people on the buy box, you've got to take the listing divided by the number of people who are going to share the buy box and then work out how many you're going to sell. And like, you're just trying to get a feel for it. Why? Because it can go wrong. I promise you that it can go wrong. And by the way, if anyone wants to know, I'm on Instagram right now. I'm just answering questions on Instagram. When you're doing test buys, they can go completely wrong. There is no hard and fast, like you have to buy, I don't know. I think Mosin said here, and hey, if Mosin's buying 10 to 20, absolutely fine. But like, you know, if the listing was selling like 5 units per month, I wouldn't buy 20. That wouldn't be a test buy to me. And by the way, you probably wouldn't buy, you might buy a listing selling 5 units a month. Why? Because it could be doing like, you know, $50 to $100 profit per item. So it's a very high value item, low volume. So you might want to buy like 1, maybe 2, see what happens. That could be a reason why. You know, we don't just buy high volume. Sometimes my team might buy a bit slower ones. If you're doing wholesale, you probably buy higher volumes. It's really up to you. I'd just buy a fraction. Maybe like a week would be a good estimation. We don't really have a specific SOP for it. It'd be a good idea to create. Let's kind of go through Julia F. Thanks, Mosin. Fantastic. And then I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I cannot pronounce that to save my life. Instagram names are the best for making Tom confused. Don't know how you pronounce that one, if anyone can see it. How do you deal with IP claims? We use 2 companies. A guy called fasttrackfba.com/Jeff. You can see him. If you go to fasttrackfba.com/tools, you'll see it. Scroll down the bottom, you'll see Jeff at the bottom. We use him. Another company we use is Seller Basics. You can Google both of them. And long story short is they both do IP complaints. They deal with IP alerts. They are like our kind of like our companies we pay a monthly retainer fee for, and they help us with IP complaints. It's a really important thing, and we just clear them down. So I think in the US we have 0 IP complaints. In the UK we have like 3, so it's not many. I could look at the stats, but I'm not going to. But we just use them. So we pay about $100 per month for each of them. So we'll pay like Jeff 100, and then we'll pay Seller Basics 100. So we overlap. But the idea is we want to make sure that we're not kind of like we've always got access to people when we need it. So I hope that makes sense. 911 Royman, let me know if that link down below that I shared helped you out. So I hope that's going to be good for you. So I shared on my bonus schemes. Who have we got now? AJL, thank you, by the way. It's been a fun year. It has been a fun year. My God. Actually, if you look at my revenue, it's been like that. We kind of grown up and then we kind of flatlined down and again back up again. Another year, interesting, very, very interesting. Let's kind of have a look through. We've got a couple of people joining Instagram, OFP, Minter, Amazon deal list, AMZ deal list, sorry. Hey. Let me know if you've got questions down below. Fizzy Jizzy, hey Tom, I bought a product from a wholesaler for ungating purposes, but they have a permanent price mark on them. Is this still okay? Well, it served the purpose that you wanted it for, which is ungating, I assume, because you got the invoice, absolutely fine. You could do a couple of things. You could like sticker over the permanent price mark. You could use kind of like solvent to get rid of it, but it's not really a new product then. You could remove it and then sell it like new, for example. Or you could try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace if you want to do that. Sometimes it's really annoying. These things do happen. You might even be a bit cheeky. I'm not saying you should do this, but you might even go back to the wholesaler and say, hey, look, I wasn't aware that it had a permanent price mark on it. Like, is there anything we can do here? I'm not saying they'll honor that, but it could be an idea. So just be mindful that is a possibility. But I think at the end of the day, even if you sell it at the permanent price mark, you're going to get your money back, and then now you can buy the profitable products. I wouldn't really worry. Sometimes these things happen. I would be more worried about the account health problem. So I'd probably just shift it out of the price mark and say, done, move on, that's it. And get the product shifted. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that's because what I'm really looking for is I'm looking to use the investment from the wholesale to get ungated, not to make profit, because the profit comes after I'm ungated. I hope that makes sense. Minza R, sorry if I get that right. He's asking a question on Instagram. Just here. With the VA, how soon, the VA Academy 2.0, how soon does it take them to start sourcing me after buying the VA from Fast Track FBA? So really, the team are pretty good. I think they'll turn it around within a week. So what's the day today? It's Wednesday. I think they'll probably start on Monday with you. So they'll be pretty quick. Yeah, we do a bit of pre-hiring. So the idea is we have that available to you. So if you are interested, check out, oh, I should put it down the bottom. Stay there, sorry. Down here. It'll be fasttrackfba.com. I'll put it down the bottom here. Fasttrackfba.com/VA. Nice and simple. And you'll be able to see all about the VAs, what's going on, and also you'll be able to access that as well. And the whole idea is we're here to support you, train you in everything that I've done to build 2 7-figure businesses. And if you're still not happy within the first 3 months, you can get your money back. So it works really well. And they'll pretty much, I think they'll be ready to go on Monday. So it's really, really quick. So I hope that makes sense. Minza_R, let me know in the comments in Instagram if that is helpful for you. I can see it right here. It's going to jump through AJL. Totally understand the risk element from a lender's perspective. My year end is March. So I assumed as March. I just don't want to wait. I know. And hey, you know what's really funny is you understand this in business is the fact that you, once your business starts going, you're like, wow, this really works and does it. But just be mindful, like in your first year, it's still so crazy. There's still so many problems, like you have so much dead stock, for example, or maybe like you think you're profitable because the tools tell you're profitable and actually you might not be because you've not taken all the costs out, or that actually you haven't really factored in costs of stock, which hasn't really been figured. There's some loads of different things around this. So just be really mindful of getting your account, your company's accounts looking as best as they can in the first year. And then, by the way, when you go into lending, they're in a good place. So revenue and profitability. Really, what's really interesting is they really look at revenue. But as long as you're profitable, revenue is the important point. Very interesting. We've had that many times. I think Capital on Tap, who spoke to us, we literally called Capital on Tap and said, hi, can we have more money? Like, sure, can you send us your bank accounts? And we were like 50,000 at this time. We got to 100,000, but we're doing 3 million at the time. Only like 5% profit, but they're like, yeah, fine, no problem. So really interesting. It's going to jump through stuff. What carrier do you use to send hazmat goods? We don't do hazmat. My team don't do it. So my team don't do hazmat. So it's kind of something whereby we don't really get involved in that. Again, don't get me wrong, you can do hazmat, but I really think if you're going to do hazmat, you should really focus down and have like maybe a team, a sourcing VA who only do hazmat and they know everything about hazmat and they know all the nuances and they do everything right and it works really, really well. I think that's a really good option, but I don't think just trying to do hazmat generically across a broad range of products is probably best practice. I'd really focus down. That kind of be my top tip. Let's go into Instagram. So we've got a couple of questions here. Can I engage in the toys and games category in December? I'm not sure. Amazon normally send you an email. By the way, if you want to, I'm on Instagram right now. Amazon normally send you an email, say that we've stopped ungating during this period. You could try. I think pretty straight. If you buy the invoice today and it doesn't work, you can use it again in 30 days in Q1. So just try. There's no harm. There's no harm. What else have we got? And you're only buying 10 items, so no problem. So Menza says with Black Friday and Boxing Day coming up, aren't prices fluctuating a lot? For example, by the time I buy, the product then can change. Yeah, like you are right. They can 100% change. And the whole point behind it, the fact that the price changes, that you could take advantage of that. Yes, they can go the wrong way, but you use Keeper, you use your data tools to realize when the price on the supplier is cheaper than what it has been historically in Amazon. So you're buying low, not just buying when they say. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the what are they called? There's like really funny memes where it's like Wednesday, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Black Friday. It's like Wednesday, 699, hold. Thursday, 699, hold. Black Friday was 1,000, now 699. Buy. It's like, it's exactly the same price. But using tools like Keeper, and SAS has like Keeper like Grass, a lot of the sourcing tools do, they give you the ability to understand what the price has been in the past so that you know that you're buying at a good price or going to sell. You're buying, you know, when you compare it against the sale price, you know the sale price is a historic average, not like, you know, a good price historically. So you know you're getting a bargain. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, they do change 100%. Let me know down below if that answers. Danny Soto and Mr. Khan has just joined. Let's kind of go through AJL. This is my first Q4. December is amazing. I know everyone's like, oh my God, we're making so much money. The biggest challenge I now have is the stock selling out too quickly. Great problem to have, but oh my God. Yeah, I do get that. I really do understand. Stock selling out too quickly. It does happen. Just watch your repricer. Like, you can't really sell a product now, get the money back, and ship another product back in. So what you've purchased, it might not already be delivered, but what you've purchased and shipped into Amazon now will be the last of it for Q4. Like, you probably won't get any more sales. If you haven't bought it already, or like if you haven't, like, don't try and sell stock to try and get more cash up. It's not a good thing. Just make sure you're buying all the stock and getting in. And then you want to watch your repricer to make sure that you're repricing right, so you're not selling too fast. That's going to be something really interesting in. I think the other one I would also just kind of put out there is, if you want to know, in the US, we're pretty much stopping all Christmas related stock right now. It's about 2-week lag time for them to get in. And once you've taken it's a 6 day today, plus 14 days is the 20th. It's only really got about 2 days to sell. So we stopped shipping in, or buying, should we say. We stopped buying. We're still shipping in anything we've got, but we've stopped buying any Christmas related stock. And as of Friday this week will be the last day in the UK where we buy any Christmas related stock. And what do I mean by Christmas related stock? Anything that I need to buy and it needs to be sold before Friday. That's something really, really important. So let me know, for you, just kind of give you an idea, but Q4 is amazing. Yeah, AGL, absolutely agree. We got a comment down here. Fizzy Jizzy, for Gating, I have an invoice from a wholesaler that has my billing address and it doesn't state delivery address. My home address is that okay? Try it. You should be no problem. Like, my God, I live in Mexico. Like, we have a different office address to Prep Center, so it doesn't really matter. I think just try it, and then if they come back and kick up, try it again, and then if they come back again, then go back to wholesale and ask them to change it. Don't change it yourself. That's a dangerous game. Like, don't go down that route, because if Amazon ever suspect it, you've got problems. So yeah, so if you got an invoice from a wholesaler, fantastic. Just send it in. Like, don't, try. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you get the robot, it comes back. That's a really important point. AJL's come back. At Surf, Hazmat is something I specialize in. DPT is the best. Yeah, I've heard DPT, but I don't know. I don't do it, so I don't know. So AJL, thank you so much. That's really good of you. I might add that in. See there. There's a little document I have which is really useful to save stuff. So that's cool. So what do we got now? Himson. Hey, Himson. I amend you. What do we got now? What should be the best thing to get ready for Q1? Keep buying. Most people are going to be like, oh, I can't do it. 1 second. So most people are going to be thinking like, oh, Christmas stops. Should I stop sending in? I'm like, hell no, not in a million years. Like, your goal is to keep buying. By the way, if I give you an idea, last year we did the same revenue in January as we did in November. It's 300,000. So you can still keep selling. Like, obviously your product mix might change. Like, if you are all advent calendars in December, you probably want to change your product mix to something other than advent calendars. But if you're buying things which people buy all year round, you still buy toiletries and sneakers in January. It still works. So keep buying, keep shipping in. And I think that's a really important point for you. So check out that. Number one, just keep buying. But now when you do your purchasing in Q4, ready for Q1, take your Keeper chart and don't just do the 3 month default. Go out to 1 year, and you want to look at what happened last year. Like this year in January. That's the most important point, because then you can say, do I think it's going to last until next year? That's a really important point. So kind of, I hope that makes sense. Let me know, Himson, if there's anything particular you're looking for down below in regards to like Q1 getting ready. So you jump over to Instagram. Julieta Kusamina 3 has joined. Julieta has answered, and Daniel Baker. Let's kind of joke through. So Julieta, do you think a repricer is essential, and why? I don't think it's essential when you start, but I think it's essential when you've kind of built up probably at least like 10 to 20 ASINs, maybe 50 at least. You probably want to go for a repricer. Why? Because the Amazon Marketplace pricing changes every 15 minutes. That's how frequently you can change your price on Amazon. And if you think about it, generally speaking, it's going to be the lowest price wins. If all the other factors are the same, and generally they are, FBA, for example, professional selling account. So if someone else is 1 or 2p or cents less than you, they're probably going to get the buy box, and you're not. Now, using a repricer, you can match that buy box. That's going to be really helpful, and that's going to mean you're going to get more sales. That I really like. I think that's so important. And I think as well, like if you just kind of look at this whole business model holistically, think about it this way: like, you are outsourcing right now. You're outsourcing to FBA. You're using Amazon. You're probably going to outsource to maybe like VAs, the Academy 2.0. You're probably going to outsource to a prep center. You're using tools and systems and people to help you grow your business. And a repricer is just an element of that, of doing what you're doing. You might even use like a lead service. You might use sourcing software. You might use a VA to help outsource or manage the prepping, or should we say the deal finding. And all you're doing is balancing these. So, and if you think about the whole kind of model, our job is to take money, convert it into deals, ship those deals into Amazon, and sell them for the best possible price. And a repricer is going to, and by the way, do that in a reasonable amount of time. If it means that you're going to buy a product at sale for, I don't know, $50, for example, and you have to wait 2 years to get it for $50, or you could have sold it after 2 weeks at $49, you take the $49 all the time. It sells quicker. So there is a velocity, and a repricer is going to help you with that velocity. And so a repricer, and we use STK Seller Toolkit. I quite like it. I think it's good. And the reason why I really like it is because, all reprices are generally the same, but it has automations. And why do I like that is if a product hasn't sold in one automation for a set period of time, it will move to another one. So it might be like, if it hasn't sold for a certain period of time, then we'll go to a bit more of an aggressive rule and start shifting our stock to that. So that kind of works. So I do think a repricer is essential, but not when you first start. I think you can probably get away with having like 10 to 20 ASINs, so you can just do it manually. And I think learning how to reprice manually is really important and seeing what happens. Kosamina 3, hey. And can you recommend any prep centers? Check out one that we used before. We did have problems last year, but they seem to be okay now. And we still use them, by the way, is American Warehouse. They're in New Hampshire. Just Google them. They're sharp. They're not like an individual like little woman in her house. I have nothing against them, but I think you want a proper warehouse. So do check them out. American Warehouse. Kosamina, let me know. Kosamina's just jumped in. I'll jump in now. How's the business going in the UK and USA? You said I'm something. I'm not too sure. I'm sure I'll find out. UK's good. USA's good. I had a problem with my repricer a couple of days ago. We're really just trying to make sure that we're selling the stock through, understanding where we're going, buying. We're lucky enough, my team are kind of using all the money. That's all we're after, using all the money. I mean, if you want to know, like, they're just kind of in the final run now, Q4. Like, this week and next week is the last weeks that they can buy for Q4, and that's it. So the other thing we're doing right now is should we say our planning for Q1, like what are the strategic objectives we want to achieve, how do we want to take the business. So it kind of makes a difference. That's something really helpful. So definitely that. Kosamina 3, let me know how your UK and USA business is going down below. Let's jump back over to YouTube. Dan's in. When it comes to products where you haven't to apply to ungate them, do those kind of products sell more than the ones where they aren't ungated at all? The answer is no. Like, I get you're saying because they're gated, are they the faster selling products? And the answer is no. I believe, and I probably should research some like recent information from Amazon, but my understanding behind gating is those products are in categories or brands whereby they have a high risk of customer complaints, and as a result, if you are a new seller, you want to what do you call it? If you're a new seller, Amazon wants to know that you're buying from legitimate sources. Hence, they require warehouse, wholesale, distributor, or manufacturer invoice to get ungated to sell. So it's kind of like just a barrier to entry. And the real reason comes around with like a lot of like Chinese sellers, should we say, who used to open up Amazon selling accounts, sell fake products, and then run away with the money and shut the account down again. So it just makes it a lot harder to kind of do that. Again, a better experience for Amazon sellers. So like they will sell faster generally because they're probably products more in demand, but it's not necessarily the fact. Just because it's because there's correlation doesn't mean causation. Hope that kind of makes sense. But it's like, but definitely you want to get yourself ungated. I was doing some work with the Fast Track FBA Leads team today, trying to show them about ungating, and like we couldn't find, apart from like Apple, there's not much I was gated in. So it was really challenging to try and show them an example. You really want to get yourself ungated in. Really, really important. Let's kind of jump through. So Ricky 1944 said hi, or hey Ricky. Co YGIG on Instagram, hi, and Chindalier said hi. 1 second, need some water. Getting thirsty. AJL, hey AJL. Are you planning on interviewing any Titans again? You're a great interviewer, and the video is incredibly valuable to understand the seller journey. It's cool, thank you. So if anyone wants to know, the Titans interview, which I did last year, which I really enjoyed, it's actually the second year I did it. I think it's the second year. I basically drove around the whole UK, had great fun for about 3 weeks, went and met loads of cool sellers and interviewed them. Really good, but obviously not the cheapest thing in the world. I don't know if you spent 3 weeks living at hotels and doing hire cars. So it does cost money. But I really enjoyed it. I really had fun. This year, I'm not going home to my family in the UK, so I chose not to do it. I'm actually going to spend time here with my girlfriend in Mexico and her family. But the other one is the case that I'm also going to the Philippines in January. So I would hope to do more interviews with other sellers, but there probably won't be so much around like physically going to meet them. I still want to do that, but I'll probably do a bit of online as well and trying to learn about the seller journeys. But it's really good. Like I really enjoyed it. I'll probably fly into the US a lot more and do a lot more because from Mexico, the US is a lot closer. But also as well, I'm really interested. You know, this time last year, I learned about a guy who was doing 10 million a year selling sneakers in the US, just doing OA. And I was like, that's incredible. I've never known anyone to do that level. And like now, since then, I've learned I know of people doing more than that, you know, like nearly double that at least. So I'd like to get those people on the channel and try and interview them and learn it all. So if I can go meet them, I absolutely love it. And that'd be my real kind of like thing that I really want to do. Go meet, interview, just cool people doing cool stuff. Like that's it. I really find that fun. So if I do get a chance, we'll do it obviously and go see it. But I'll definitely be back in the UK at some point this year, and I'll probably do a little bit of a mini Titan series, like go meet them. But like we'll see how it goes. There's some really big players who I met, like way bigger than me in the UK doing OA, who I met last year, but they didn't want to go onto the camera. So I'm seeing if I can get them on board. We'll see how it goes. And then you got Danzen. What I found is when you're looking at gated products, there's a higher barrier of entry, which puts people off, less competition. Sorry, Tom, I'll shut up now. No, not a problem. Yeah, agreed. Generally less competition, but like I believe that when I first started, but like when you kind of look at it, you know, when you first start, everyone looks at gated as a big problem. But once you've been ungated once, you realize it's not a big problem at all. It's actually quite easy. So like everyone talks about it as a problem, but it's really not. Like it's quite simple. Just call up like Harrison's Direct or like EE Distribution. You can get the invoices, order the product. Really simple. So it's not really a big problem. And like once you start getting ungated, you kind of realize that actually then everyone else is ungated, and you're like, oh, there's still the same amount of competition on all the listings. That's it. It's only if you go to really niche brands, that's really it. Dan's and AJL, yeah, appreciate that as well. Fantastic. Just going to jump onto Instagram. We've got Moroccan Boss Lady says hi. Hi, Moroccan Boss Lady. She's down there. I can see her. Not anymore. I'm not too sure where you are. Not anymore. Kosamina 3. Amazon Flips Island. How's Amazon Flips in Ireland going? I'd love to know about that. Kosamina 3. Brilliant. Love your lives. I'm doing them frequently, which is appreciated. Yeah, it's great. So today, I'm not the most wellest. I have food poisoning on the weekend. So I'm like a bit like water and like paracetamol. Any tips on going into Q1? So the only thing I'd say in Q1 is like we're doing really great Q1 now. Look at that keeper chart. Open it up to 1 year. Look back at Q1 last year. Look back at Q1 last year, and then or this year, should we say? You want to see what the keeper chart's done there. Like if you were to look at an advent calendar right now, December would look amazing, but January would look awful. And that's what you're looking for. You want to make sure the products you're buying today are still going to sell in January, or they still sold this January, which means they're probably going to sell next January. I think that's a really important point. So Q1, I'd look at that. I'd also probably think about, but by the way, Amazon doesn't shut down. We're still shipping in all the time, like all the time. Last year, I said it earlier on, I did the same amount of revenue in November as I did in January. January is the same, 300,000. We did 400,000 in the UK. By the way, you can see it here. Look, you can see this graph. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? That by the way, that big long spike. That big spike is December last year, and on one side is November, and on the other side is January, February, March. So you can see it didn't really change too much. Just December went through the roof. So it does happen. Moroccan Lady Boss on Instagram. Hey, but when in Canada, it's a different game. And for ungating being hard, not anymore. Yeah, I don't like. I've never got ungated in Canada, but I do think I do like obviously I know the places to go in the US and the UK. That's absolutely fine. But I do think for you the question comes is like everyone talks about gating. Like when you first started, like, oh, everyone talks about gating, it's really hard. Like, yeah, I get it. Like it's a barrier, of course. But like once you actually see it, it's not too challenging. Like once you start learning how to get over the process, it's really easy. Find the wholesalers, cool stuff. It works out really simple. I'll try and do some more videos on it, but it's a really interesting point. But I don't think gating is a big problem. I really don't. Like you once you kind of get ungated once, you kind of go, oh, that wasn't too hard. Just got to take the pictures, go through the process, bing, bing, bosh, done. Moroccan boss lady, sorry, on Instagram. I can see you right here. Let me know if I'm doing that right. And then Cosamina 3, no, I can't see it. So Cosamina 3, when you're on Keeper, go down to the bottom. It will have like the time zone. So it'll be like 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, lifetime. You want to change it to 1 year so you can see back to January this year. That's really, really important. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Moroccan boss lady on Instagram said, no, it's not. There's lots of new ways. Yeah, agreed. I've even heard people sending in blank sheets of paper and getting ungated, or even using Amazon's own invoices. I'm not saying it will definitely work. I've heard of that. It could just be hearsay, but it's not really a big challenge. So Moroccan lady boss, yeah, thank you. That's really good. Let's go and jump back on here. Gaming Mama, hi Tom. Please share some info on private label without importing from China. Advise on unique bundles, etc. So if you're going to do unique bundles, one lady I do like about unique bundles in the UK is, oh my God, just watched her this morning, Natalie Cromie. She does that. You can follow her. They're in like the ecom group. She's like only unique bundles. That's all she does. I don't mind unique bundles. What do you think? Private label is about creating your own brand. Now, yeah, private label is about, should we say, private label is about creating your own brand. Now, most people buy their private label products or source their products from China. But you don't have to do that. You could, for example, buy like multivitamins. You get them manufactured in the US and the UK, absolutely fine, and then rebrand them as called like Fast Track FBA, Fast Vitamins or something, Tom's Multivits or something, something that I could try and sell to you guys. But that means I don't have to import from China. I can do it internally. There are a lot of manufacturing within your country that you live in that you could possibly relabel or should we say brand and then sell on Amazon. It does happen. If generally you're trying to get a supply as cheap as possible. So things like multivitamins, I probably wouldn't buy from China, but multivitamins from like UK and US, yeah, it'd be fine. And so long as you put a good brand behind it, I think you'd be fine. So yeah, it's a really, really good idea. But yeah, and then unique bundling is okay. I don't like, by the way, when you create unique bundles, they're kind of okay. I just don't like, it's like coffee cup and water bottle. That's Tom's unique bundle. Like, it's a really bad example. But I think there might I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like a classic one would be you get like Cadbury's Dairy Milk and you put it together with a Snickers bar. I'm not saying that's a good example, but that could be an example. And but I'm just struggling to see how Amazon's going to deal with that because it's other people's branded products in someone else's now branded brand who've created the bundle, and like it could backfire. Like it could work, it could backfire. I think you'd probably be like, it's going to make money. It's only going to be you on the listing. You're going to have to build listings. I think for me personally, I'd probably go down the private label route and do unique bundling. But I'm not against it. Like I think I know a lot of people do really, really well, but I'm just worried about the longevity in it. And I think if you're going to take the time to build a listing and get it going, you'd probably be better off trying to create a product of your own rather than build a brand around someone else's brand, when that brand can come away and say, hey, you're using my products in this listing on Amazon, we don't want you to do it. So I'd probably say no. Hope that kind of makes sense. Like it's not for me, that's why we've not done it. And again, I just want to grow. I want simple, Alex Hormozy talks about it. Simple scales, fancy sales. when it's like, and by the way, like when you start talking about like unique bundling and doing all this, it's absolutely fine. But what is it? It's another thing that only you can do, which becomes a lot harder to outsource to someone else. And I don't mind making a little bit less money by not having to do the work. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Yeah. So Kosamina3 said shampoo, conditioner, and a detangling brush can be an example. Completely agree. You know, you can definitely put that as a brand, a bundle. But I just think for me personally, it's not something that I would want to do. I don't like, I don't see my arbitrage business as probably something that someone's going to buy. So there's no inherent value, should we say, it generates cash. The other one is if I build a unique bundles list, would someone buy it? Maybe not. Would it, you know, but can I hire people to do my unique bundles for me? Maybe, but I think my standard arbitrage business would be a lot easier. And then again, like, well, if there's an easier way to make money, then I'd probably do that, like, if that makes sense. So there's pros and cons. It's up to you. Kosamina3, thank you so much. And you said, sorry, not Keeper, your orange bars. No, so I don't know if you can see it over here. These are my orange bars, and I know they're a bit small on Instagram, but that little spike, by the way, that bit in the middle, it's gone up. That's December. This isn't actually the last 3 months, it's December. It's kind of a bit off. But that big bit in the middle is December. And then after that is January, February, March. So that kind of makes sense. Ioloa, hi Tom. Around how much credit would capital to give to a beginner to doing FBA roughly? I think if you can have 10K, you'd be really happy. 10K. Like I think you do a really good job with £10,000 and get going. You can start with less. But by the way, if I had 10K to invest right now, and if someone had 10K to invest right now into their Amazon business, I'd say go spend the first 1 to 2K in the first 3 months. Try and turn that into break even to a profit and prove that you turned to a break even profit. Then once you've proven that, then spend the next 8K in the next 3 months to invest in that. Why? I've seen it too many times. You think you've got a good deal, you go and buy a lot of stock, and all of a sudden you realize you made a bad decision. And what you now have got is £5,000 worth of stock, which no one wants. And then you got to lose money on. And I've seen it too many times, really too many times. So, like, and by the way, I think Warren Buffett talks about it best is like, look, when you're trying to do investing, you're not trying to win, you're trying to not lose. So when we do Amazon and the Amazon game, and I talk to this, I talk it to my team as well. I'm like, when we're selling on Amazon, we're not trying to win big. We're just trying to make sure that we consistently never lose. So like, we never lose product, we don't lose money. We're just making money consistently, ticking over. Everyone's happy. Because I think that's a really important point. Like, because otherwise, if you're gambling to win big, you can lose big. Whereas like, I'm just trying to, over time, the more risk you take, the more likely that risk is going to come back and bite you. So I hope that makes sense. Gaming Mama said, you're spot on. I've got an ASIN doing well, but as the BSR is dropping, people jumping on the listing, I want a private label product but in the meantime, I thought I would bundle it. I get your point. I really do. By the way, private label has a whole host of other problems. Like, you're like, oh, well, if I go private label, no one's going to jump on my listing. Yeah, I get that. But now you've got to get the listing up. And now instead of competing against people on the same listing, you're now competing against other listings. And by the way, everyone else you're competing against, they might not be particularly ethical. So, a classic example is that, someone in China might come along and go, oh, your pen that you're selling, which is now, when you type in like black pen in Amazon, come up number 5, they don't want you there. They want their ones up. So someone buys your pen and then writes a review. Oh, I bought the black pen, it made me bleed. Oh, I bought the black pen. Like, it's not a negative review or anything, but it just starts containing buzzwords that Amazon's algorithm picks up and goes, warning, we're sending your account off for review. And like, I've heard so many private label people talk about this, is like, they would never get that product back ever. That ASIN's dead. And it's a real shame of like growing that business. Like, it's a real shame because all your eggs in that one private label basket. It does happen, but I get your point. but there's no perfect golden goose. Unfortunately, it is, there's always pros and cons to each methodology in each way. Hope that makes sense. Guys, if you've got more questions, drop them down below. I'm going to jump back over to Instagram. Who have we got here? FBA Gangster said, where are my dogs? Hey, FBA Gangster. Have you ever got new or used as a new complaint? Yeah, quite a lot of times, actually. We always just go back with the Amazon invoice, or the invoice, which is like Walmart, for example. We always get them cleared down. Again, we use Jeff and Seller Basics. They help us out if we get struggle, but most of my team could kind of use their templates and tweak them, so they're pretty good. Moroccan Boss Lady, and it tanks. Yeah, completely agree. FBA Gangster, Viva Marco. Okay, not sure that one. My Spanish I need to learn. We'll see. That's brilliant tip, Thomas, on Capital on Tap. Real talk, great. If you give them a call, they're pretty good. Like, I've called a Capital on Tap and said, hey, can I have a credit in, please? Admittedly, we're probably one of their bigger customers, so they've been pretty happy. We have an account manager. It does help. So you just give them a call, see what they say. Moroccan Boss Lady, what's your average ROI? So in the UK, we generally buy about 25%. We sell about 20%. We kind of, I can't load it up. We generally turn our stock in about 75 to 80 days. We try 90, but we're just kind of selling it a bit faster. Again, that's a balance between sourcing and then also as well sourcing and then selling at the repricer. And really there's two metrics you're thinking about. One is what you're purchasing at and what you think you're going to get ROI at purchase, again, hence 25% in the UK. And then when you're selling is the repricing and the market conditions. And what we might do is we might look at the market and say, look, if we were going to wait to get the 25 we wanted to get, we might have to wait an extra 2 months. But we can take 20% now and not have to wait. And we're like, once we do the calculations, we're like, well, it's worth it. Just clear it down now. So we do that as well. In the US, the team moved pretty good recently. They're generally doing about 45 to 55% ROI, which is absolutely incredible. We haven't seen any of that come through on sale yet. It's all probably just sitting there at the moment. It takes about 2 weeks to come through. But right now, across our business, probably about 35% ROI we're actually achieving. So definitely higher ROIs in the US. But I don't again, there's a discrepancy between what we buy and what we sell. And the reason why I say that is because I have a repricing analyst, and we have our repricing analyst, and our repricing analyst, the way I kind of taught her is that I don't care what we bought it for. I don't care what we think we were going to sell it for. All I care about is what you think you can get for it within reason. And I always say to her, don't try and beat the average price. Don't try and make more money than you need to. Your job is to shift the stock, not to try and get rich once. Because if you try and get rich, what's probably going to happen is that you'll probably just hold on to stock for too long and it won't actually sell at the right time. And you'll probably make one product sell well, but the rest of them sit there and it won't work and sales will dry up. So the concept is my sources, my purchasing managers think they're going to get something, they make the decision off that, and then my repricing analyst reprice based off what the market's doing right now, and she'll continue to monitor that through. The role's quite good, but we'll probably get a second repricing analyst into the next year. It's something we're looking at, but we're just refining the SOPs and the processes and the porting. So it does make a difference. Hope that makes sense. Let's kind of jump back through onto the Instagram. Okay, so you know, wow, your ROI is amazing. Yeah, but by the way, it takes longer to sell, so just be mindful of that. And you get, just put it right, if I got a 10% ROI and I could do it in a month, when you annualize it, that's called 12, when you divide it by how long it takes and how many times you can do that in a month. So 1 month to get 10%, if you annualize it, you do it 12 times in a year. So now it becomes 120% ROI. Fantastic. The next one to think about as well, what if I got 40% ROI, but now it takes 3 months, for example. Well, I can do the 40% ROI, or say 4 months. Well, now I can do the 40% ROI 3 times in a year, so 40 times 3 is now 120% ROI. Now, we're not including compounding interest, but they're pretty much exactly the same. So what you identify is when you start dividing the time to achieve the result in time, number of times you can do it in a year, starts to help you identify, even a lower ROI can actually be much better than a higher ROI, as long as it's quick enough. And the UK is generally a quicker market. That's one thing we see. Let's kind of jump back through revenue targets next year. I don't know yet. My ops managers, and I have 2, one for Fast Track FBA, one for the UK and one the US. One of their tools tasks this month is to write what's known as the AOPs, annualized operating plans for next year. That's the full budget of everything we're expecting to do. So I'm off on holiday next week, and I'm probably going to sit down and read those budgets. Hello, living the dream. I live a fantastic life, spending my holidays reading budgets. No, it's all right. I don't mind. I'm happy doing that. So I'll probably read them and have a look through. But If I had to kind of guess, I think, I would probably look at UK 3 million again, maybe 5 million. I don't think it'll be too challenging. We've got a lot more access to credit now, much better team. I'd probably say 5 million would be a better place. If we're doing what, 300,000 times by 12, 3.6, that's easy. Yeah, I think you could probably hit 4 million without too much sweat at all. That'd be quite an easy objective. And then in the US, where are my team now? 100. Yeah, I'd probably say, like, top of my head, I think, if we're doing like 1.5 million, 2 million, I'd be quite happy with that in the US. I think, the US, you can see here, the graph's kind of gone up. You get a problem with cash flow. So one of the big areas we have is about trying to get Amazon loans. So I think that's a really big point. But Amazon loans in the US are struggling with right now. So trying to find out why. If anyone knows why people can't get, I can't get an Amazon loan as a foreign-owned LLC, tax C corp, let me know. I'd be very appreciated in understanding. So we're doing that, and then fast track FBA, hopefully grow that as well. So hashtag no pressure. Gaming Mama, final question for tonight. Amazon are playing havoc with my shipment loss inventory. How do I ensure reimburse loss? You have to wait for it to close, and then you should do the reconciliation. They'll probably come back to you and say, sorry, it doesn't exist. You have to go back and ask them to raise it to a supervisor. Just make sure you got all the documents, the invoices, not like delivery notes, actual invoices from the supplier, like official looking documents. That's generally works, but you have to kind of go back. Hope that makes sense. Danson, when you apply to get ungated, have you used your residential address like your Amazon account? Sometimes not. I think sometimes you use a prep center address. You can try it both. It's not the end of the world. Like, by the way, so I have an office address for my business, but we can't receive stock there at all. Like, nothing. They go crazy when I get stock there by accident. Like, oh my God, a box has arrived. We've rejected it. Like, don't ever do that again. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You get free stuff sent to you. Like, don't send me anything free. I don't want it. But so we have a prep center and then an office address. So all the invoice ungated have the prep center address. So we've always done it that way. It doesn't make a difference. Let's jump over to Instagram. Lots of people kind of jumping in. Viva Marco, Moroccan boss lady. Hey Moroccan, guys, if you're on the Instagram, I can see it. Guys, drop your questions in. I've got about 10 minutes, then I'll need to finish up. So also there is a talk called the FDA multi-tool that's been updated. How do you like that better as one opposed to Seller Amp? So I know Zach, an FBA multi-tool, I think it is. He said a typo. That's fine. Look, two things I'll be quite honest about. Number one, I don't really source myself. Like, I can do the analysis, and when I do the analysis myself, I use Seller Amp SaaS. I quite like that. I think it works really well. There's some, it's cleaner, it's simpler, it's faster. I like that. Speed's a really important point. Second one I really look at is what my team use. When my team are like, by the way, we do actually have, I think we have like 28 licenses for FBA multi-tool. So it's not that we're not using it. We definitely use it. They love it. But I think the majority of my Amazon sourcing team, they use SaaS more than, but my VA Academy training team, which by the way, you do work with my trainers. So when a VA goes through the VA Academy, they'll be trained by my trainers, but also as well, they'll have one-to-one training with my Amazon sourcing team as well. But I think my VA Academy trainers prefer FBA multi-tool. I'm not saying it's better or worse. There's like pros and cons. Like, for me personally, I use SaaS, and I think one of the reasons I like it is faster, cleaner. And I think also one thing I really like is you can just kind of hover down the stock and it adds up all the stock on the listing. I think that's a really good little feature. You just kind of hover over and it says there are, you kind of go, it will add them up for you. Again, it's just little things making things so much faster. Moroccan lady boss, what do you? Moroccan boss lady, get it right, Tom. What do you use? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll say I appreciate you. Pastels, Roberto Lucian, and Amet Sona. Let me know down below what sourcing tool you're using. Obviously, I can kind of see, we can maybe take a poll. But I think the majority of people I know, they pretty much use SaaS, and then it depends where you are. If you're USA, they'll probably use like ASINs and RevSeller because they quite like that. Or if they're in the UK, they'll probably use FBA multi-tool and Buybot Pro. But if you look at just general, you can go on the Chrome store and look at installs. What I do notice is I think SaaS has the highest rating of number of installs. It's like 30,000, which is more than the other ones. I'm not sure versus RevSeller or anything. So let me know down below. Guys, if you've got any questions, drop it down below. Also, appreciate you kind of answering questions or asking me questions. I'm here to help. Really, really good. I'm here to help, and obviously I want to make sure you guys get the information you need. But it's been nice to obviously like kind of talk and converse. I'll be on the same time tomorrow. But also let me know how your Amazon business is getting on. Like, mine's pretty, I'd say it's just steady, pretty happy. We do just need to do a little bit of work on the repricing around the USA. Right now, I think we're holding our prices too high, but I'd probably like see how that goes and then maybe drop it down a little bit next week. But the Q4 period, now's a good opportunity to obviously make sure you hold your prices and then just start seeing, weeks 2, weeks 3 in Q4 in December, you'll really start to see sales like really go. There'll be certain lines, I think that makes sense. Certain lines that will just really sell through. So be mindful. And you'll be like, damn, I can't sell anymore. I can't buy anymore and ship them quicker. Super, super annoying. Adam says, thank you as always. Adam, thank you for joining me. I love that. Kosamina3 has come in and said, Buybot Pro user. I love it down there. Buybot Pro user. Fantastic. Hey, I've met Matt Webley in person, actually. I did an interview with him last year, part of my Titan tour. Absolutely loved it. Really cool. And lovely guy, and just like good software, and they do a good job. So again, I think it's personal preference to you. I always say to people, if you're just getting started, Buybot Pro is pretty helpful. I quite like that. So lots going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to call it a day. I just want to say thank you so much for everyone else. Someone else coming. I personally prefer Buybot Pro. However, when I hired a VA from Fast VA, she preferred FBA multi-tool, so I switched. Agreed. Yeah, and it's up to you. It's really like what works for you. So absolutely fine. Like for me, I find SAS just a little bit quicker. And speed is my time frame. So, ladies and gentlemen, give me a big thumbs up. Give me a love heart if you liked this live. I'll catch you same time tomorrow. If there's any questions I can answer for you, Zach, Sugar and Spice. If there's anything else I can answer for you guys, do let me know. But I will be back same time tomorrow. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like. Moroccan Boss Lady, absolutely love it. Thank you so much. And stay safe. Keep smashing the Q4 game. I'll catch you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.